at
Well, I'm
all.
not concerned about your scalability. At the rate of 22 out of 60 at that point, and they're $10 leads, you're closing about 1 in 3. Your cost per acquisition would be 30, which is insanely low compared
Yeah,
to, what Josh shoots for is if he gets a 300 cost per acquisition and he breaks even on year one, he's happy because he's in scale mode. And so
right.
if Josh is getting $30 cost per acquisition, he'd be dumping millions into that right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. I know it's been a little while. My business partner Josh Lustig and I have been incredibly busy with some new changes. He and I came together getting close to like 8 or 9 months ago now. And there's just been a lot that goes into taking on and merging a full business into your own. But there have been some really, really fun and exciting things that have come with that. And excited to just kind of get the videos going again to share that with you. So today we're actually going to be interviewing one of Josh and I's clients who was with us for the transition. He was with me on the insurance advertising master side before that, but he's really seen some of the fruits of this merger and has some really exciting results to share with you all. He is a agent, and I know he for sure focuses on Medicare. I think he may focus on some other things, but we're going to dive into that today and really get into what his experience has been like working with us, but also the stuff that you guys care about is what are the results. So let's get into it. I just kind of wanted to ask you some questions about your experience so far. I know that like more recently there's been some really fun things happening, and so
Mhm.
yeah, just kind of, I think the first thing where I usually like to start these is how long have you been in insurance, and kind of what is your story been leading up until you kind of started working with us or found me?
Uh, Make a long story short, I got insurance about pushing 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. I was in the car business. I was a car dealer for years. My family was in it. We had a 63-year-old business that we finally, my brother and I sold it. So, and it was right before COVID hit. 2 weeks after COVID hit, boom, the world blew up. I mean, after we sold it, the world blew up. So I
Yeah.
was kind of sitting around for a while looking for something to do. And I got into insurance, looking at other things. The entrepreneurial part kind of stuck out to me as opposed to going and working for somebody else. So I started into it, went with a fairly big agency, Equus Financial, got life insurance, and I added Medicare last year. Um, I just recently switched out of Equus and went to work with Greg Birch
Oh,
and
really? Nice.
on the life side. But I started Medicare, so I kind of been putting them all together, and then I got my for a little niche, which I told you, I started selling equine insurance. I just started doing that now, like in the
Yeah.
last couple weeks.
Interesting.
Um, Prior to you guys, I was buying $40 leads like everybody else and getting sick every time I threw a bunch of them in the trash because people didn't want to talk to you, right?
Yeah, throwing away $40 bills isn't very fun.
I, I,
uh
I had actually gotten to a point, to be honest with you, as I started to get into more into the Medicare side of things. Almost stopped buying their leads because I had a theory at one point. I'll spend $5,000 a week if I have to, but can I make 20? You know what I mean?
right.
And I kind of got to a point I was like, this just isn't working. These leads, I mean, these people don't know what they're signing into. And
Yeah.
the way that the leads are drawn up, it's kind of a backwards way of doing it. Send these people 100 cards until they finally get sick and call the 800 number once they do their lead.
Right.
So they're very non-intentional in the first place.
Yeah.
So I guess probably a year ago, or maybe even a little more than that, I signed on with you guys. I started build my funnel. I got busy. I got frustrated. Um, Kind of put it on the back burner for a while, and then I turned around last year and said, I'm going to finish this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got my nose to the grindstone. I finished it on the ClickFunnels platform. I launched it a few weeks, well, I'm going to say maybe about 30 days before uh, Christmas. And all of a sudden, I started getting good leads.
Mm.
The numbers weren't anything like they are right now, but I started getting good leads and saying, oh my God, these people really do. want my services, and they're happy to get on the phone with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
they actually exist. There's people that want help and they want it from you.
oh yeah, yeah. So, um, right around Christmas time, I shut that funnel off, moved over to the DFY, rebuilt it again, which was much easier, by the way. I think I told you that at one point. There just
Yeah,
aren't as many moving pieces.
right.
And then I redid the video. I put myself in the video talking over it, so to speak, but not word for word. I kind of went through it, and I made the video shorter and with less Medicare crap in it.
Mm,
Like I said this to you before. Ryan looked at it at one point when I did the first video, and he said to me, "Nobody cares, Joe. They just want you to take care of them, show them the pain points, solve their problems, tell them why you're the guy that's going to do it for them." All right, so I put it back up. Uh, the results got better, KPIs got better. You looked at it and turned the heat up on the thing,
yeah.
and then I added the equine in too, and kind of mirrored a little bit what I did with the Medicare. So I'll tell you as of this morning what my results are. Okay.
Let's hear it. That's what people want to hear, the
That's what
numbers.
people want to hear. That's right. I have spent so far in April, I've spent 1151.65. I've gotten 122 leads. Now
Nice.
the average lead cost is $9.43 a lead.
Nice.
All right. Um, the Medicare leads cost $11.31, and the equine leads are $5.41.
There we go. That's
And I
a
mean, I have days like today's been the quietest day I've had all month. I think I only got two leads so far, but I have days where I'll get 10 or 12 where the phone's just ripping. And
yeah.
then I'll go into the opportunities on the CRM, and you have to do, and I'll call these people. Now, more and more people are actually setting appointments now. It seems as this thing, as the wheels keep rolling and it gets better traction,
Yep.
more and more people are actually booking the appointment.
Right. On their own.
Almost all of those people show.
Wow.
If something happens, they're more likely to get back to you. They don't run away and hide.
Right.
Um, and that's on both sides. I mean, I'm staying very busy. I tell you, 2 days ago, I picked up the phone and for like an hour just made calls. I was picking up the Medicare customers one by one, saying, "Here, give me your information, give me your
Mhm.
doctor, give me your prescriptions. Boom, I'll call you in the next 48 hours. We'll set something up and we'll go over this."
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that business could be 2 months away, and they're in your site kind of looking around,
Right.
saying, "Okay, what am I going to do when I have to sign up here, in the next couple months?"
Yeah.
And I'm texting them if I can't get them on the phone saying, "Look, I'll do this for you now. You can relax. I'm going to take this off your hands. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to show you what I do. I'll put all the nuts and bolts, the main things of like a Medicare Advantage plan. Let's say I'll put it on a Word document, and I'll email it to them, and I'll explain it to them. Now. Let's sit down. I'm going to walk you through this. I'm going to compare
Right.
regular Medicare to Medicare Advantage. It's your choice. I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. And from there, it's up to you. Most people are choosing the Advantage policies because most people at 65 are not sick enough that they have to worry too much about, hey, how many days am I going to spend in the hospital? Hopefully this year, right?
Yeah.
But when I put it, I keep kind of tweaking the workflow too. And now see what I'm giving them is a blueprint plan.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it all for you. You don't have to do anything. It's a 5-minute phone call, and I'm taking everything over for you.
I can tell you've been paying attention to the positioning and the marketing side of things. You're just making it sound so good to them that they can't say no.
Well, even little things. I had a guy yesterday when I first did the workflow. Josh did the workflow in one of the videos, right? And the
Yeah.
last step that he did was, "This is your last chance."
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I put it in. I kind of copied what he did, and I've been kind of tweaking it. This
Yeah.
guy texts me back and says, "Oh, it's my last." He says, I have several months to go. I'm not ready to sign up yet, but if it's my last chance, I guess I'll go elsewhere."
Okay.
So I called him, left him a voicemail message. I texted him, but then I went in this morning and fixed that workflow and said, "Hey, if you're busy or you have so many months to go, then here's my phone number. Reach out to me. I don't want to bombard you for the next 3 months.
Right.
But I want to let you know I can take over this thing right now. We can plan this all out ahead." I mean, I have a Excel spreadsheet with I think I got 20 some odd people on it right now, just waiting to for them to get their cards so we can write them up.
Yeah.
So it's been, I mean, it's night and day. It really is
Cool.
night and day.
Well, I love to
You
hear
know?
that. And it's so much about why everything's customizable to you and who you
Mhm.
want to be attracting and the positioning that you want to be putting out there. So for Josh, that may work for him.
Mhm.
He has they're doing a lot of volume, and
Sure.
so
Right.
he's okay with that. But
Mhm.
for you, you have the positioning of you're able to walk them through it. You're able to kind of go at their pace that they're looking for. And that's the nice thing about just not having a cookie cutter system to where we're putting the power in your control. You have control to customize it to yourself. It becomes your asset. And then you now know how to easily go in and tweak all those things. And it sounds like you're doing that just on a daily basis. And it just keeps
I mean,
getting,
I screwed them all up at least once or twice now. I'm
yeah,
starting to figure it all out, right?
that's the
I mean,
secret
it's
to
a
it.
puzzle. There's no doubt about it. It's a puzzle, but it's a good puzzle. Once you learn it, it's good, and that's why even this equine thing, I had this thing in the back of my mind, and I ride horses all the time, and I it's mostly women that own them, and they're saying, "Hey, can you insure my horse?" So last year I said, I think I'm going to get P&C license and try this.
Yeah.
It's a nichey thing, but I've never seen anybody else really do it before.
Especially with Facebook ads.
I, honest to God, and I made an ad, and they looked like professional, like I had a professional event rider, and then I had like a barrel racer, and I wasn't getting anything off it for a couple of days, so I just switched the pictures.
Hmm.
I put a normal everyday little horse, and all of a sudden, boom, it starts. But it's kind of odd, but I keep saying this could turn into something really good.
Yeah.
It really could. It's something that's different. I'm when you get people, I mean, there are some fairly big equine insurance companies out there, but I don't see like agencies pushing it anywhere. I
No.
had a
And
call
that's
I
like
had a call
why
from a woman.
the
Go ahead. I'm
first
sorry.
No, you're good. That's just like why in the first, you probably are sick of hearing my voice in all the videos, but the first like several videos I harp on really niche down so that you can be
Yeah.
different from the other agents out there because
Right.
you found that niche because it's something that you
Mhm.
relate to. And you're just doing this kind of on the side and it seems like it may blow up even bigger than the Medicare thing, but you relate to it, you understand the pain points, you understand how to talk to those people, and no one else is going to be able to compete with you because it's just something that you understand better than anyone else. And so, yeah, you found that fun niche and you just don't have competition. And
Right.
it
Yeah.
just makes it fun.
And
So
the fun thing, well, the one thing about that thing, when I thought about it, I said, well, where am I gonna go to get somebody to give me access to the insurance? And I just went to websites and I started calling people, and I get a guy in South Carolina, real gentleman. You get your license, I'll work with you, right?
yeah,
Because, but I want to tell you something. Because I had three insurance agencies. I've done life, Medicare, I've done it all. This is the best. Why is
interesting.
that, David? These people have money.
Yeah.
Because this is a lifestyle. And when you got horses and trailers and horse shows, they're, it's true. These
Yeah.
people, their horses are like their children, you
Right.
know? And it's like so far, I got a woman call me. She's about an hour away from me. She's got a big farm that she wants insured. And he even told me, he goes, that's where you can really do well. You get a big farm, she's got a house, she's got barns, she's got rings, and she's got 30 horses on this farm, and she doesn't own them all.
Yeah.
But she even told me, she goes, all the girls here that have horses, I'll send them to you when they need insurance.
Hmm.
So it could get big. I hope it does.
Yeah. Well,
But
it
it's a
sounds like
great
you have
daily
fun.
flow. you know?
Yeah. And it sounds like you have fun doing that, which is important. That's like the
Yeah.
most.
I have fun doing the Medicare too because people appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, it's so confusing that when turn the light on a little bit and they start to get it, they're happy, but they're really happy that you took the burden off their shoulders.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
really the big thing with most people, you
Yeah.
know?
So I'm curious. I love the leads and the lead cost. I think it's important for anybody watching this to understand that like these are not just normal leads. It's not just like he's putting out an ad for a quote for Medicare. These are people that have seen you. It's branded to you. They want to work with you specifically.
Mhm.
But I'm curious. I love the lead cost, but I'm
Yeah, so I
curious. Yeah, right. Um, dive into numbers a little bit more. How many I know there's going to be future policies because not everybody's in that T65 range right now. How
Right.
many actual policies have closed? And then we can figure out what the cost per acquisition is because I'm very curious to hear what that is.
It's a number that I need to go back and kind of go through right now because one of the things and I was thinking hard about this morning. I need to really, because of the volume starting to pick up, I need to um, get a little more organized as to like even filing all this stuff on the computer and getting access and how many do I have? I got a good sized stack of them. I haven't really counted them, you
Yeah.
know, but I
Well, I
have them.
know
I'm
that when
gonna
you
go
were,
on now and
yeah, I know. Do you know the number of policies you've closed? You know that number?
off the. I don't. I'd have to actually sit back and look at them and decipher who came from these leads and who
Yeah.
came from stuff that I had prior to.
Yeah.
But I've cut everything else off at this point. I don't need them anymore. You know.
Right. Well,
But
remember
I would.
when we, oh, go ahead.
Good. You turned the volume up on this thing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, at that point, you were at, I believe you said 22 to 25 closed policies out of around 60 leads.
Right.
So you're closing about 1 in 3 of leads, not just like appointments.
Right.
Has it been pretty close to that same ratio?
The actual leads, as the volume of leads have gone up, I found, what you're naturally going to get. You're going to get
Yeah.
people that put fake phone numbers and people that don't exist. Yeah, I had a guy 15 minutes before, same thing. Oh, you got the wrong guy. I'm not him. Blah blah blah. And I believe him. So your ratio of leads to sales is going to change a bit. But the one thing that
Yeah.
I have found, and this hasn't changed since the last time you and I talked about this, people that I have sat down with, worked up a plan for them, put it in front of them on paper. I email it to them and say, here you go. We're going to walk this step by step. I've closed and written every one so far, with the exception of one woman. And
Yeah.
nobody was changing her. She was on a plan that she shouldn't have been on. She should have been off years ago because, she wasn't getting half of what she could have gotten out of. But I could tell. I jumped every hurdle she had, and at that point I
Yeah.
said, I'm going to throw in the towel. But if you can write a one of these or two of these every day, like
Yeah.
I did 2 presentations this morning, and then I got another guy that called me this afternoon, so I'll work him up. I'm going to do him Monday. All right. And it takes a while to sit down and go through this stuff, pick out the right plan for somebody, and then show it to them and whatnot. So it takes a little bit of time. But
Yeah.
can I get to a point where I can do a couple of these a day? The equine stuff I can do with equine's easy. There's a ratio that you use on certain things, and you add. There's two parts to insurance. You have mortality, and then you have major medical, and
Right.
that's it. You know what I mean? So that part of it is really easy. So when people call you on that, I just email it out to them. But I'll get those 3 or 4 of those a day right now,
Yeah.
and it doesn't turn over really quick because there's application forms to fill out. But I've booked a couple of those already, and that's only been a week that I turned the volume up on the equine.
Yeah.
At one point earlier in the week, I said, at the end of the month, the equine sales might or leads might overtake the Medicare, but the Medicare jumped back out again.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
I I have to better track, which I'm starting to do, what I've put in there, but I know that I have 22 waiting in the wings right now.
Awesome.
that
Well, I'm
I'll,
not concerned about your scalability. You know, at the rate of 22 out of 60 at that point, and they're $10 leads, you're closing about 1 in 3. Your cost per acquisition would be 30, which is insanely low compared
yeah,
to, what Josh shoots for is if he gets a 300 cost per acquisition and he breaks even on year 1, he's happy because he's in scale mode. And so
right.
if Josh was getting $30 cost per acquisition, he'd be dumping millions into that right now. But it's natural that it'll go up with scale. But I think that like the fact that you're closing such a high rate is because people are coming to work with you specifically, and you have so much margin in there for cost per acquisition to continue to scale that. So like as far as tracking all that stuff, definitely get into the later weeks of the curriculum piece of this
Hmm.
because right, we go into all of that. And then the other two huge parts, like this is the marketing piece of it, but the other two huge parts that we really focus on now with Josh and I coming together is now that you have all of these leads coming in, if you haven't reached it yet, you'll probably reach it soon where you're too busy to handle all of these things. We really
Hmm.
get into, how to hire that administrative assistant, how to then hire an agent or two to start taking
Hmm.
this from you. And then, potentially even if you have dreams for it at some point, get you off the phone so you don't even have to be a bottleneck in making money in the business
Right.
whatsoever. So
Right.
I'm excited for that stage for you. What's really next? If like you've gotten this right now, it probably feels like, you can kind of do whatever you want. You really have full control now. Obviously,
Hmm.
you know how to scale up if you want to. Like, what's next? What's the next goal you're going for?
I haven't thought of like, I mean, in the back of my mind, what you're saying, I've thought to myself, and it's funny. I deal with a company called Agent Pipeline, who that's where I get all my various different Medicare policies through.
Yeah,
And I was telling the rep that I talk to all the time, and he's like, you know something, I could get you agents quickly. He goes,
yeah,
we have a way, we'll get them, but you don't even have to do it. We'll get them for you if you want to. And I was like, okay. He goes, just when it gets to a point where you can't handle, it, I go, right now I can handle it, and I'm just trying to get through it. I'm excited right now, but I
right.
haven't really said that I thought, where do am I going next with it?
Yeah,
I want to get to a point where I got it really well managed. I know all my numbers, um, and then start thinking a little bit bigger on it.
yeah. I would highly suggest we should get a one-on-one call with you, me, and Josh.
Hmm.
Because there's kind of two different models, and we have our own opinions. I think both models have their place, but there's the downline model, which is really good if, in my opinion, I don't know, I'm pretty polarizing with my opinions. It's a really good model if you don't have anything to offer. If you have all of this marketing in place and you've put the blood, sweat, and tears into getting this marketing system up and running yourself, we
Hmm.
personally like the LOA model where you have agents that are actual employees of yours, where they don't have to worry about becoming entrepreneurs. They don't have to worry about cash flow, all of that stuff. But then also, you can get a good chunk of the revenue that they're closing the business on. You either pay them a salary or you pay
Right.
them a smaller amount commission. There's multiple different ways to set that up and structure that. But then it becomes they're closing it, but you've really made it already easy to close because of the marketing that you've done. So I'd love to, outside of this, just chat with you and Josh just about, because that's what Josh does in his agency. Rather than having like 50 agents that are left to produce on their own, he has 3 or 4 because he's feeding them all the appointments, and then he
Right.
just pays them a salary and then closes, and then all the commission just goes to the business in general. And it's
Right.
tends to be a lot more profitable depending on how
Yeah.
things are structured.
Hmm.
But
Well, I'll keep working towards that.
yeah, well, it really, so like I don't know if you've seen, but we've been putting out our new message of a concept called the and agent, and it's an insurance agent that you know they're focused on their business and their family. They're focused on making a lot of money and doing the
Mhm.
things that they love. It's not just about making money. And so we really feel like that model is what allows you to get that a lot quicker.
Right.
Because you can get that freedom once you have the marketing in place, and then you can really get employees to start being, uh, leverage for you so that you are not 100% connected with your time to your money. That's where a lot of the things that people start a business in the first place to achieve that really unlocks, because then you get your freedom
Yeah.
back and all that stuff. So
No.
we're
Good.
super excited about that. That's where we think that once people get the marketing in place, that's the next step, is start tackling those things. And right now
Hmm.
is a really fun time. And at the same time, like, people don't have to do that. They could just stay as just an agent, and the marketing becomes easy. They're just closing policies and building up their
But
recurring.
you always want to grow, right?
Yeah,
But
I do.
I mean, it's compared to even a few months ago. I mean, every time my phone dings, I know what it is. It's another lead coming through.
That's a
You know?
fun thing. Yeah.
I'll get up in the morning, look and say, how many leads did I get overnight?
Yeah. Right.
And that's I mean, even if you don't talk to all of them by any means, and you don't know, there's people, that kind of wait in the wings for stuff like this, and then they boom, next thing you know, they're
Right.
calling you. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been looking at it for a month. I had a guy that he was one of the first leads I got on this thing. He called me about a week and a half ago. He was in Miami, he lives in Miami. I'm late for getting into this thing. I got him all set up. He was real thankful, super thankful. And he goes, I made a lot of money doing whatever he did. I don't know what he did, but he was a successful business guy. He goes,
Yeah.
but I don't understand this Medicare stuff. I'm so happy. I'm sending friends to you. And he gave me a
Nice.
great review. And he goes, I said, I thought I lost you months ago. He says, nah, I've just been too busy. So it kind of goes to show you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they'll pop in at any time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, too, yeah, that's where, like, controlling your marketing and you being the face of it is
Yeah.
really helpful as well, too, because he
Right.
remembered you were the one that helped him.
Hmm.
And it didn't even take your time, because you did it through video, and then he came
Right.
back to you. But
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well,
It's
thank you
great.
so much, Joe, for getting
Thank you.
on
I
today.
appreciate your help all the time. All
Yeah,
you
of
guys.
course. Of
You
course,
guys are
man.
great to work with.